Welcome to Unity C Sharp development course. My name is Khan and I'll be making this course for Orangebox Lab. I am the lead C Sharp developer of this company. I'll be your instructor throughout this course. After this course, you'll be able to make Unity C Sharp games for Android with full skill. So let's get started. Before we start, the prerequisites you need for this course is basic programming language. I mean, if you even do not know C sharp, if you have Java or like C or C++ knowledge or even Python or JavaScript knowledge, it should be fine. Even if you don't, then I would suggest you go do some programming courses because you need the minimal knowledge like classes, variables, if-else loop, while loop, for loop, the basics. So Unity's backend code is done with C sharp. So I'll be doing with C sharp, not JavaScript. So let's get started. One more thing, I'll not be showing you how to install Unity or download Unity. If you do not have Unity, go to unity3d.com and you can download it from there. It's very easy and the installation is perfectly fine. I mean, it's smooth. I do not have to show that to you. So before this is how we'll start our course. At first, we'll work with our character development, so how to move our characters, how to make my character jump, how to like give inputs to our character, how to make our character fight, and then maybe some animations to our character. And one more thing, our development will be in totally Unity 2D, two-dimensional development, not 3D, because in the game development journey you have to start from the very beginning. I mean, you have to start with 2D and then eventually work your way up to 3D. So I'll be doing this on 2D. Anyways, let's get started. Once you have opened your Unity uh, software, just press new. I'm just gonna and press 2D. I'm gonna name this project Orange Box Tutorials. Okay, and you can choose whatever location you want to, and now then hit Create Project. It might take a while. Just hang back and watch. Actually, it's taking quite a while. Kind of hot in here. Okay, there it is. Okay, your window might look different from my window. I mean, your inspector panel might be over here or over there or whatever, but you can actually set it right here. I mean, whatever makes you feel comfortable. I like it like this. I mean, in here, this is my animation panel. If you if you don't have animation panels, you can just go to Window and choose this animator, and it'll just pop in here. So this is the main scene. We will be working in this scene, and this is the camera scene. I mean, this is the camera. I mean, the main game, everything will be working will be inside this camera, and this is the game view. I mean, this is the like output of whatever inputs we give here. This is the asset store. I'm offline. You can download assets from here like characters and designs or environments or whatever you feel like. And in here will be our, let's say, prefabs or whatever you want to call it. Whatever object we put in our game environment will be shown in here. And in here will be our assets folder. I mean, everything you need to develop your games. And this is the inspector panel. Uh, this is this is the panel where we will be spending most of our time. All right. So the first thing we need to do is to work. We need something. So we need some assets, and I'll be using this player sprites in the beginning. You can find this. You can download this sprite from the link below. I'll put the link down there. So you can just drag it here and come to Unity and drop it in here. player. There you go. It's imported. It looks good. Okay, so if we say, let's take this, and hang on, you might have this thing. I kind of minimized it. Yeah, this will be our main player. We'll make this girl jump or movement or whatever you want to call it. So if you drag her and put it in here, and there you can see. Now, if I go to game, or let's say play, nothing should happen. Nothing happens. She just stands there and nothing happens. So basically, whenever this is the very beginning. I mean, whenever you create a character, you have to give the character some objects like to gravity to work. So if you, I'm just gonna rename this character. I'm gonna name her, like, if you press F2, you can rename this character. I will name her, say, player. Now in the inspector panel, this is the position. I'm gonna put it to 0, and the Y position to 0. And since you're working on 2D, we will not be needing this Z. So, okay, now let's add some components to our player. The first component you add to your player should be, let's type rigid body 2D. If you do not know what rigid body 2D is, you can find the documentation on rigid body. Just go to Google and type rigid body. Let me just turn my Wi-Fi on. I might need that. Connect. To turn my airplane off. All right. So, and now that we have added a rigid body, now our character has a mass. He has a gravity scale. I mean, now if we hit play, he's gonna fall down. You know why she falls down? Because she has a gravity now. Now let's add something else. Okay, we added our character. Now we need something our character to stand on. I mean, this is the game. I want our character to stand on something. We need an asset for that, a ground asset, which I unfortunately did not prepare before making this tutorial. So I'll just bring that out. Don't worry, you can find these assets. I'll put a link down below. Let's see, where are those? Not in here. Just give me 1 second, I'll find them. It should be in my, hang on. Unity, Visual Studio, Unity files, 2D person, in my assets, prototyping art. What is this? Yeah, this will do. I'm just gonna copy this picture. You can find this picture. I'll provide you the link down in the description. Sorry, I have a little stammering problem at times, so do excuse that. Okay, so I'll just need to drag this in here, and I'll put it inside our assets folder. Okay, now you can find it as prototyping art. I'm just gonna create a new folder. By the way, this is called a sprite. In Unity we call this a sprite. I'll show you why we call this a sprite. But first, let's create a new folder, and I'm gonna name it sprites. And I'm just gonna drag this prototyping art inside our sprites folder. And now, let me just show you what this is. See, we have some weird colored body, and this will be our ground, and these are some objects. We'll be working with this in here. So, but we need to separate these at first, right? So let's separate them. To separate them, we need to first choose 2D sprites in here in our texture type, and in the sprite mode, choose multiple. And in here, override for PC, Mac, Linux, standalone, give it a tick. Now look, in our sprites, it says 512 into 512 pixels. So we'll just choose the max size to 512. and then press apply. All right, so I'm just gonna close that down, and now go to sprite editor, and this window should pop out, and now we will choose slice. Just keep this as it is, and then press slice. Now you can see we have different slides. I'm just gonna name this. I'm gonna name him, say, Bob. He looks like a Bob to me. And I'm gonna name this as ground. And this will be box 1, since we have lots of boxes. I'm gonna name you box 2. I'm gonna name you yellow C. And who are you? And I'm gonna name you you look name something crap, doesn't matter. All right, now press apply, and now close it. Now if you press here, now you can see you have lots of things in here. Now the first thing we need here is to put our character on a ground. So let's put that, let's take this and drag it over here. And if you double click this, there you can see, we can see it here. I'm just gonna, now to move it somewhere else, press W and you should see this arrow, or you can just press here. I'm gonna drag it down, and then you can press R, or you can go to this scale tool, and I'm gonna scale it, and I keep on scaling it. Okay, that looks good. And I'm gonna scale it on the y-axis. Yeah, now it looks like a ground to me. Now I'm gonna press W again to, okay. Now we have placed our ground in our game environment. So now if we hit play, she still falls down. Why is that? Because in our environment, our ground is just a picture, nothing else. To add something to our ground, we need to put something to it. We need to add some components. So if we go to our add component, and we will not be adding rigid body 2D, because if we add rigid body 2D, see what happens to our ground. It's gonna fall with our player. So we will not add rigid body 2D to our ground, because if we add rigid body 2D, our ground will have some mass, some angular drag, linear drag, even gravity. We do not want that. So you need to remove this component. To do that, just go here and say remove component. But we need something else in here. We need a box collider 2D. What box collider 2D does is it will collide with another box collider. So if we play now, it still doesn't collide with our player. You know why is that? Because our player does not have any collider components. So let's add that. I'm gonna add a box collider 2D to our player. You can resize this box collider 2D by, if you press here, I'm gonna scale, size. Okay, this is fine, we'll work with it. Now you can see our player stands on it, but it looks like our player is standing some feet above from the ground. You know why is that? Because in here you can see the box collider is a little bit downstairs from our player's feet. We will change that. I'm just gonna, instead of adding a box collider 2D, I'm gonna remove this for now. I'm gonna add another component named polygon collider 2D. Now you can see it adds perfectly with our player. So if we hit play, now our character can stand on it. So that is much for this first tutorial. I mean, we made a character. It can stand on a ground. So in your, you should do exactly what I'm doing, or you can just, move around, see what is what is this, what this does, what this does, or what is that. I actually suggest you do that, play around, and this console animator and animation panel will work with this later on. First, we'll go through the very building basics. So this will be for the first tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll make our character move and jump. We'll do some C# codes. But for now, make sure you set up your projects. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next tutorial. Yeah, that's it.